Hi, Kris. How are you?
Hello. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Good. Everything is okay?
Great. Thanks for inviting me, Hen.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is ours, Kris. Okay, today, as you may all know, we know that today's episode is about most important reading tips. Kris, no, please, again, to the right side, rotate it to the right side. No, 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 it's not.
We're only here.
Yes, that's
Okay.
great. Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Kris, I know that, mashallah, you've been working in this field for around how many years, Kris?
15.
Oh, 15 years in teaching IELTS or in the teaching field?
I've been teaching ESL in general for 15 years, and I've been teaching IELTS for 10.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. So you must have a lot of knowledge regarding the tips and tricks in concerns with the tips and tricks of all the components. So inshallah today we're going to handle or to talk about and discuss the reading part. Actually, many of our students find challenges and they find the reading section a bit challenging for them because of many reasons. First of all, let me ask you, Kris, from your experience, what do you think the most challenging questions that our students usually encounter?
I think the students' biggest problem is time management, to tell you the truth, Hen. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that it's not only about the time management. We have a lot of difficulties. The main or one of the major problems is the time management. I agree with you. But again, we will still have so many problems like mastering the main or the most important skills in the reading test, which is, I know that we will go through details today regarding these skills. So I want you, please, Kris, you're so far. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, a bit far, you know. I can barely see you.
How's that?
Okay, yeah, that's better. Thank you very much. So again, going for some details or going through some details regarding the reading skills, would you please give us a further explanation or a further demonstration to the most important skills needed for the reading test to get a good score, Ben, please?
Sure. So
Please.
when it comes to the reading test, it's your perspective that's the most important. How you approach the test changes the way that you are going to do it. For example, you shouldn't be reading this test like reading a novel. Instead, a candidate should be thinking of themselves as a student, or sorry, a research student. And so, for example, a teacher gives a research assignment. Step one is to find the keywords in the research and then go to the library and get your research books. And you take your big stack of books and put them on the table in the library, but you don't read those books from cover to cover. You know which part of the book you should look in, and you only read the paragraph or the chapter that you need from that book. And then you pick up the next book and you do the same thing. And so it's these skills that you should be using on the IELTS test.
We do not go through each and every book. We just skim the book or have a look at the contents of the book, and then later on we decide which books are we going to use. And this is the same thing that happens during the reading section or during the reading exam, right?
And so we should never be reading like we're reading a novel. We should always be searching for something.
I see. Reading a novel is reading for pleasure. That's why I have to read each and every word. Yes,
exactly.
To gain the pleasure.
Exactly.
So unlike the reading part, yes.
Yes, we should be doing research, searching the text for ideas and data. So what's important is to have some steps to follow. So it was lucky I just finished teaching a reading class. And so I've got some steps on the board right here.
Right, please go ahead.
I don't know if you can see it or not.
a bit difficult. Now, yes, now it's
Yeah,
focused enough.
no, it's not going to work on this camera. But so step one is to get your context first. Look at the title and the keywords and the bold words, anything like this, to get a general idea about what you're going to be reading.
Yes.
Step two is then to look at all of the questions and the answers and circle the keywords in the answers. Now, there are two types of keywords that you need to pay attention to. There are keywords that are going to help you find the location of the answer in the text, find the key sentence. And then there are keywords that are going to help you deal with the meaning of the answer. For example, words like a lot or some or few. When you see words like this in the question.
Students, some examples. All right.
Sure.
All right. Yes, go ahead. I'm all ears.
Yeah. And so then the next thing to do is look for those two types of keywords. The ones that will help you find the location and the ones that are going to help you determine the answer. And then next is the $1 million step, the step that's never included.
Let me talk about the 15 little dollars, all right? Okay, this little amount, which is what you've said we can, sum up in 2 words or 2 main skills. Number 1 is to skim the passage. To skim, here, this is the passage that we're going to do. As you guys may see, how many words are written here? These are 3 big paragraphs, all right? And still, this is not the end of it. In the other opposite page, you can see that we have another 3 paragraphs. Will you be able to do this big amount in 20 minutes? I don't think so. You will find a big... It's impossible. And Kris, some of the students try and do their best, even if they have good memory. I bet you would never be able to remember all the details that you read while the questions, right?
Right, exactly. So, that's not the skill that's being tested for. It's the wrong skill to be applying.
That's it. So number 1, advice, as Kris has just mentioned, is to skim the text. To skim it is to just go through it. And for the first paragraph, read the first and the last sentence in each paragraph in order to get the main idea in each paragraph. Then tip number 1 is to, number 1 was the scanning. Number 2 is the skimming. To skim is to try to find the key features in each question and try to find it there in the paragraph itself. So, why do we do the first step? The first step is really important. After you underline the first and last sentence in each paragraph, by this, you'll be able to determine the main idea in each paragraph. And by this step, you will determine where to find each and every clue word in each and every question. All right? Do you agree with me, Kris?
Yes, I do. And so,
okay. Now let's... Yes, please.
The key to it all, though, is to make sure that you've circled your keywords in the questions before you look in the text. Or else, how do you know what to look for, right? If you're searching, but you don't...
That's it.
How can you search?
Definitely. I totally agree with you. Yes. Mm-hmm. Now to the $1 million tip.
The $1 million tip. And so...
Billion or million?
We need to determine which questions we should do first. If we've got a choice, if there are 2 or 3 question sets for the text, often there's a tricky setup on the exam and they put the heading matching questions as the first set of questions. But this is the most difficult set of questions to do first. These are concerned with big ideas and themes and things. And so if you haven't read anything in the article yet, how can you answer these types of questions? And so you should skip over these general idea questions first and find the questions about particular details and dates and events and names, things that you can skim for and scan for. And so skimming is looking for those keywords. Scanning means looking for numbers and dates and things like this. And so by doing this, we can quickly start to look through the text. And so back to the steps. Step 1, keywords. Step 2, determine that question type. Step 3, search for the keyword in the text. And now when I find the location, remember my location keyword? Now I've found the key sentence where my answer is going to be. And I can compare the meaning of the question and the choices with that key sentence or that keyword in its context. And I can make a correct decision on this. But it's all about following those keywords, searching for keywords. And then in this way, for example, an article is between 1,500, I think, and 2,300 words. There's no way to read them all and to answer all the questions. Even I, who've been training this for 10 years, would have a hard time doing it all and making sure I got them all right. And so if you are doing it correctly, you should only need to read 300 of those 2,000 words if you're applying the proper reading skills.
Yes, Kris, excuse me. For that, we need to clarify how much time should we assign for each section in the reading. We all know that the reading is divided into 3 sections, right? Section 1, Section 2, and Section 3. We have only 1 hour for the whole 3 sections. How can we divide our time between these 3 sections? How can we manage it?
Divide it equally. Make sure that you don't go long. Make sure that you don't go longer than 20 minutes on any section. If you choose a section and you find that you're getting up to 18 or 19 minutes, you should abandon that section and go on to the next one. The chances are, if you are using your proper reading skills and you have moved through and answered all of the questions that you found your keywords for, and then the next step was make sure that you don't waste time looking for difficult answers when you haven't checked the other easy questions first.
What should we do then if I encountered a very challenging and difficult question that I cannot go ahead with? Should I keep on looking for the answers, or I just skip it to the next question?
Skip it. Go to the next question first. The questions have difficulty levels. There are level 2 difficulty questions, level 4 difficulty questions, level 9 difficulty questions. But if you don't need to get a band 8 or a band 9, then you don't need to try to find those 8 and 9 level questions. They're the most difficult ones. They'll take you the longest time. And so just keep on going quickly. If it's taking more than a few seconds to answer the question, leave it. Go to the next one. If you can't get it, leave it. Go to the next one. And sooner or later, you're going to come across your keywords, or you stumble upon the keywords from a question that you left before. And now you can answer it quickly without having to search for the answer or read anything for context. And so it's always important to keep moving and keep moving and keep moving. Get to the end of the question set, go back to the beginning, start again, go through, back to the beginning, start again. And every time you do it, you'll get 1 or 2 more questions. The questions usually follow the order too. And so if I answered 2, but I didn't get 3, but I answered 4, now I know that the answer should be between those 2 questions. And so it helps me to narrow my search.
I have another question. Do the questions go in order, questions and answers, in the reading section?
Up to band 8 questions, yes. And then when you start to see band 8 and band 9 questions, they're the ones that they're out of order or they're out of the sequence. And so if you spent a lot of time looking for it, then you wasted your time, because the answer for question 2 is going to be in the last half of the essay or something like this, instead of where you would have expected it between the location of answer 1 and the location of answer 3.
Yes. For that, I need to clarify something. you guys know that we have 3 sections in the reading. Kris has said that we better spend 20 minutes or divide the time equally between the 3 sections. Actually, I give a small hint to my students that they better spend short or less time in section 1 and section 2 than in section 3, because section 3 is usually the most challenging or difficult section. For that, I usually give them the advice to spend at least, maximum 18 minutes in section 1, 18 minutes in section 2, and 24 minutes in section 3, because it's usually it needs more time than any other section. Some other times, I do not want the students or the IELTS test takers to be shocked if they know that sometimes section 1 is divided into 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. You will find 2 paragraphs or 2 passages in each section. And for that reason, please, you have to divide the 18 minutes in each section into 9 and 9. Right, Kris?
Yeah, I'd be worried about over-analyzing things, though. And then taking the focus off of the skills of actually doing the test.
Yes, I also agree with you, but again, my point is that you have to keep an eye on your watch or on the clock, which is in the...
Absolutely. So that's the key to success on every part of the test.
There's time management, especially in the reading part, because you're just given an hour in which you can do whatever you like to. Some people spend a whole hour in section 1, and all of a sudden they get shocked because time is over. If they are not very trained and if they did not practice well, they will be really shocked at the time, and time flies during the test, the IELTS test. Time really flies.
Yes.
So please watch. All right?
And so this is why it's so important to have a set of steps to follow when you do the question. And then when you're training, you do the same steps over each time. And this is how you get better. If you don't have a procedure that you're following and doing it the same way every time, then you're not really practicing anything. And so you're not improving any skills. So very, very important. You can see kind of behind me, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very important. Get all of your practice tests and do 100 practice tests, but make sure you practice those same steps every single time. And this is the key to success.
Another question. All right, thank you very much. Another question, which is some students are, some tutors or some teachers ask the students to first skim the text and then go and try to find the keywords in each question, go find them in the text, all right? Others advise the students to read the questions first, and then try to find them without skimming the passage. What is your point of view?
So what I tell students to do is first read the title, look at the pictures, anything to get some background information, and then go through and read the topic sentence, just the topic sentence from each paragraph. Then go on directly to the questions and read all of the questions related to the text. The questions act as a summary. As we said before, it starts out in paragraph 1 and moves to paragraph 2 and moves to paragraph 3 and so on. And so as you read question 1 and read question 2 and read question 3, you automatically are getting a summary of each paragraph. And so by the time you go through skimming and scanning and watching these things, you've got a really good idea of what this article is about now. And you've got your list of keywords to skim and scan for. And so now you're ready to enter the article. And now you're ready to start searching in it.
Great. Okay. Being far away from these skills, I have some other advice actually to give the IELTS test takers. Number 1, which is really important, Kris, I believe it's one of the most important things because most of the students do not pay attention to it. The word limit. the word limit, you have to keep an eye on the directions given to in the question.
Yes. Thank you very much, Hand.
Yes, please. In some questions, you're asked to write at least 2 words, or 1 word, or 2 words, or 3 words, and or a number.
No more than 2 words. No more than 3 words. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. No more than. Actually, some students forget to read the directions and they just give the answer. What they don't know is that if the directions given were write not more than or no more than 2 words, and if they wrote 3 words, the whole thing will be wrong. They will get a big X for their answer, although the answer is right. Right? Why?
Yes,
because
you're correct.
Word limit. You're not, unfortunately, you're not allowed to cross or to overpass the number of words supposed to be written. For example, if we have the answer is the tomb of the pharaoh. For example, this is an example. You cannot write the tomb of the pharaoh. These are 5 words, all right? If the directions say 3 words only, then you will have to turn or to change the formation of the sentence into the pharaoh's tomb. I'm sorry for giving this very Egyptian example.
No, it's perfect. Idioms and metaphors are the best ways to teach because everybody can understand.
Yes, that's it. Okay, so this is a number on which advice? This is number 5 advice, Kris.
I've lost count already, but it's good. It's all good. Let's keep going.
Another thing, which is watch your spelling. Does spelling count, Kris? In
yes,
what way? Tell us.
It does, and your capitalizations as well.
Just a minute, please. We're only 20 viewers. We have only 20 or 90 viewers going up and down between 20 and 25. Hey, guys, if you think that this interview is really interesting, kindly share this invitation now with others in order to share the benefit with everyone. We'll be really grateful if you do so. Please, Kris, go ahead.
So, right. Spelling. Yes, spelling and punctuation, also very important. For example, if you write in all capital letters, it means that everything is wrong because that's not the way we write in English. You have to follow the proper conventions or the proper rules of the language when you're writing, even if it's on the reading test or on the listening test as well. Those rules apply.
So if I write the word spelling, for example, like S-P-E-L-I-N-G, would this deduct any of my marks?
The rule is usually that as long as it's spelled close enough that the examiner understands your meaning. For example, if you missed one L, it's probably okay. But if you spelled something that looked closer to a different word, like S-P-I-L-L-I-N-G, spilling, where you have spilled some water or something, now the meaning has changed, and so this gets marked wrong.
Yeah, for this we know that the whole reading test is out of 40 marks. Each question has 1 mark, so sometimes if you did not do the right answer, sometimes they deduct half a mark for the spelling. Other times, if the word is illegible,
it's always all right or it's all wrong. There's no half marks on anything in IELTS. There is no half marks.
Again, please.
There are no half marks for anything. Everything is either all right or it's all wrong.
Even in the writing section, in the reading section, Kris?
Yes, there are no half marks.
Okay. Okay, so let's move to the next advice, okay? Next advice, which is, yes, I said that we have to watch our word limit. Kris, are you still there?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, but I can see that your picture is just still. Like, I cannot see.
Am I here?
Yes, I can hear you, but I can't see you. It's
I don't know why.
One and last thing, Kris, I don't know what's going on with your camera, but I can hear you still. Anyway, one last advice from me is to try, please, to find some time, enough time to transfer your answer from the question sheet into the answer sheet, or the question paper into the answer sheet, okay?
Yes.
All right. Would you like to add anything, Kris, to our meeting today?
I'm not, and what else can we talk about?
Well, this was...
Well, here's my last tip. Can you see me yet?
No, unfortunately,
No?
I can't. No, your picture's very still. I can't see you.
Oh,
I
really?
can
Oh,
see
it's terrible. Anyways,
you.
there's one last thing that I'd like to say is your
Please.
first answer is probably the correct one. And so do not second guess yourself on the test, all of you IELTS candidates.
Most challenging questions, right? If you couldn't find an answer, please try to take a guess. Take a guess for whatever
Right,
questions
but
you find challenging. Don't leave it blank, all right?
don't change your answer either. If
And don't
you've
change.
written an answer, don't doubt yourself and don't think hard or don't think about it too much and then change it to another answer. Your first answer is usually the correct one. I see many, many students who they've gotten the right answer the first time, but they doubted themselves and they changed the answer and then got it wrong. This happens all the time.
Yes, this happens all the time. Yeah. Thank you very much, Kris, for your very, very valuable advice that we had today about the reading section. For this, guys, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you have any questions or comments on our video, kindly don't forget to leave your comments. Follow us on the YouTube, both of us, Kris Enders and Hind Al Khayal, and wait for our next meeting, live meeting, inshallah. Next, Kris, let's see whether next week or next to next week, inshallah, we'll talk about the writing section. All right? Thank you very much. Thank you, Kris, for accepting my invitation. Waiting impatiently for the next one, inshallah. Okay?
My pleasure, Hind. Thank you for inviting me. See you
Thank you
next
very
time.
much. Bye.